we've had what they're claiming. This is like the fourth blizzard. We had like what, three in January, and this is like, no, there was one the other day, so I don't know. This might be the fifth. No, the other one that wasn't, there wasn't much snow in that one. So it's like the fourth, third or fourth blizzard this year that they are claiming that we've had here in Iowa. Now, they ain't getting. I don't. It's. I looked up blizzard because it was like, man, I remember back in '72 there was a blizzard, and I was jumping off the garage roof. It was almost I could walk off into a snowdrift. I was jumping off into a snowdrift. It was just almost level with the freaking garage roof, and that's how deep a like the seven. There was a blizzard here in '72, and I mean the freaking drifts were heavy. And then there was another one in like '74 when the '72 blizzard. I lived here in Des Moines. And in '74, I think I lived down in this place called Ackworth, not Georgia, Ackworth, Iowa. It's not in Ackworth. On that, it was a rural. We lived on a farm, but and they had this freaking drifts across this Highway 92 down here, and these drifts, I swear, they were taller than probably the peak of a. If you had a peak of a garage, they would be that high. They had to rent a snowblower that would fit on the front of a truck, one of the snowblade truck, because the snowblade couldn't plow through it because it was so big and so tall. It was like, I don't know how. I think it was like 18. Some kid that lived right in front of it. And I think he took pictures of it or something, but I don't know if he measured. It was like, I don't know, it was like 18-foot tall drift or something like that. It was huge. I don't know, something like that. It was real tall. It was like a land bridge from one side of the highway to the other. And they had to rent a freaking snowblower that fit on the front of a snowplow truck. I think they had to get it from like Michigan or maybe Minnesota or someplace like that to cut a pass through this freaking snow. And and now they're calling these blizzards. It's like, I don't know. I think they're like millennial blizzards or something because there's not much to them. There's a lot of wind. I mean, with the people plowing snow, not really doing anything, but I seen a snowplow today. It's snow. It just came back. I just came back down south. I went up north on 35. That's all. That's the routing I do. And it was a snowplow that had a plow raised. He had one of those big side plows. The only thing was scraping was the very tip edge of the side plow. It was out there it was scraping the freaking ground on the emergency lane, where you pull off, the emergency pull off lane. And that's all it was hitting. It was like about a foot. And the rest of his blade, and there was snow on the ground. He was driving over snow that should be getting plowed, but he wasn't doing any of it. And it was like 30 miles of just snowpacked. Was not snowpacked. It was like, I was having to go 50 miles an hour, and the wind would blow hard, and it'd start pushing your truck side. I mean, pushing you. You're not steering. I mean, it's just pushing you sideways toward the. You're gonna push off the road because that's where a lot of trucks get. That happens to them they're empty or something, and they're driving down the road and they're on that ice. I mean, I've been on the ice going up there 5 miles an hour, and I was getting pushed sideways. And 5 miles an hour and I was basically jackknifing because I'd let up on the brake. This house they don't do anything. All these snowplows, they weren't even dropping sand. It was like they had their boxes down and not even dropping sand. It was like, let's use, 100 years. So I was coming back. I was thinking, 100 years, they've been driving and plowing snow, and the snowplow, they're still snowplows. That's all they are. They haven't changed in 100 years. They're just bigger snowplows, and that's all they are. They haven't got any better at plowing snow. They haven't got better at getting rid of the ice. There's still freaking ice on. In fact, I don't know if it's worse now than it used to be. I think they used to put salt on the road Of course, then they plow it or wind would blow it off, and that's how it is now. I mean, they drop it in the center. They just drop a pile. They have that tube, and they drop it down that tube, go down the center line. It's just on the center line. That's the only place. And then when the sun comes out, if it gets warm enough, it melts. They haven't done anything. They got that beet juice that they was using up there. I don't know if it was North Dakota or South Dakota where they use beet juice. It supposedly doesn't freeze. And the city or state started using it up there, and all the highways up there. I don't know if it's South Dakota or North Dakota, but they're red because the beet juice stained the road. Because you drive up there, and all of a sudden you look and you see, wow, this road is like got a red tint to it. And I mean, it does. I thought, wow, it looks like somebody put dye, red, concrete dye, how if you want to change the color or something, that's what it looks like. It looks like somebody done. I thought, man, spent a lot. Then somebody said, no, they use beet juice because it doesn't freeze, and then apparently they mix it with like salt and water. I don't know why they'd put water. Why not just put salted beet juice? And they were getting that for free because it's the beet people. They didn't have anything. They had no. They was just dumping that beet juice. Well, so the state, to lock an amount of beet juice so they start paying them for the beet juice. And now I think they raised the beet juice. It's real high, it's real high price now because the government started buying it. And so nobody else can get it. And it's the best thing to put down on. I don't know what they was using on. I've said this before. They was using something on Colorado. They spray it, and then you drive through, and the next day, man, it was like melted. It was like, if it snowed or something, there was no ice on the road. But anyway, but it was melting the plastic chrome. I think I've already talked about this. But this beet juice, I don't know why. There ought to be somebody here that just grows beets for the beet juice, because you make sugar out of the sugar beets. But they haven't done anything. They haven't improved. I mean, how about like using an air compressor, like get one of those turbo, like a blower air compressor. You know how the new blower type, not the piston type, but they're like blowers, and they're like a screw blower, and they real fast to charging up there. And you put one of those on the back of a truck, and then you put a bunch of jets down, and you just blow the ice off the road. Just put them at an angle, and it just cuts through the ice, and then you can blade it off the road. I don't know if they've done that or not. And windshield wipers, they got the windshields that they have the heater strips to go around the outside. Okay, that's nice and all, but you got your, if you want to pay for those flimsy little wires on a $300 for windshield wiper heaters, and they got those flimsy little wires that don't make it through a winter. As soon as snow gets packed on them, it's going to rip those wires out. So why don't they have it they used to, I think they had something, had a heater blowing to melt the stuff off there, but then people of course people complain. There's probably liberals. Oh, well, they got an idea, and it was blowing heat up on their windshield, and they was saying they couldn't see. Well, how about if they put when that the wiper blade comes down to rest, they just have like a little heater plate there. Doesn't have to heat it up to melt the rubber, but if it came down and rest, like there was a way that it'd rest up against that, and it'd melt that ice and snow off the wiper blade, because you don't run it if you don't run it all the time. Or have your wiper blade come down, and then have like a separate bottle of like a washer fluid that squirts on there on your wiper blade to melt all that ice on there. That way you wouldn't have to sit there and stop or bang, reach out the window and bang your, because even those covered snow blades, nothing. I haven't had anything that's worked. I'm not gonna spend $300 on a freaking heater blade where the wires are like, they're like silk, corn silk. And that ain't happening. So won't they even have a blast air. That's why I was thinking about blast air for cutting ice on the road. They had tractor, a truck, if they got a compressors on there and they got compressors on these diesels and stuff, there's some, they got the compressor on the air conditioner, it ain't big enough, but anyway, if they have something on there that when you stop your blade, there'd be compressed air that blows that ice off your ice and snow off your blade, and compressed air that should knock some, there's got to be something. I mean, these people. When I was in the Army, I drove a deuce and a half in this one for I don't know, maybe a year. When I was over in Germany, drove a deuce and a half for a while, and they had a freaking. It was they were built like what 1940s or 50s. I don't know what year this thing was built, but it's still the same thing. And they had a little thing on top, and you'd right up by on the windshield. Of course, the windshield's tilts, and but they had a thing. I can't remember what it was. It was like a handle you'd pull down or something like that. That would knock the blade away. It would knock the blade. You could knock the blade away, knock the ice off the blade. So you just tilt it down, and it'd walk it away from the windshield. And, it'd come back and slap the windshield, and it'd knock the ice off. And I was like, well, here they have this on a freaking army truck, and they don't have it on a car. They don't have anything to clear the freaking ice off the windshield wipers, which is a disaster. And why they don't have something you can just put up. Why the defroster's not better to defrost the. I don't know. They're just not improving anything that needs improved, especially clearing snow. 100 years they've been driving, and they still have not improved this. And that's, why? This is a freaking government. They're freaking slow. There's a change that the Democrats haven't done. Haven't heard them doing anything as far as getting snow cleared. You know what they do? They do something that fills their pockets. They ain't going to do anything. If it helps the country, which costs money, and it doesn't enter their pocket, they don't have a way of getting it in. Heck with them. Heck with the government. They got no. I don't think we should have one. But anyway, there's a couple things for you.